Hi, my name is Bill Nicholson, and I'm a partner in the company Essential Floor Products, where we carry the laminate line Arlington. I'd specifically like to address the dealers pretty much given up on the laminate game and the dealer who's actually taken on our laminates, because the points in the video will really help the sales force present this product to the end user, our customer. So let's talk about why it's not viable to carry a laminate. And the reason generally is you're not making any money on it, or, and more importantly sometimes, you've been embarrassed by this product. So let's talk about how that happens. So you have a customer, they come into your store, you have a typical local distributor laminate display, and it's got the arms in, and the customer's kind of going through the display, and there's different prices on there. But there's really no explanation why this laminate is this price and that one is another price. She's going through there, she finds an item she likes. You give her a price. Unfortunately, she can also go down the street and get 5 more prices if she's diligent, or she winds up at a big box store, and that distributor is giving the big box store a super deal supported by the manufacturer, and the outcome is you get embarrassed. Now, you either dig your heels in, match the price to retain your customer, and you're going to wind up with profits that are so small you're not happy about this job, or that customer walks away with the impression that you're so high on this. They tend to generalize about your whole store that you're high on everything, and then there's nothing worse as a dealer to get embarrassed on a price, and essentially you don't want to carry the item anymore. So it's very important that you have items that are competitive. So what happens if you had an item that is uniquely different? The customers see the uniqueness and like those differences. You have great pricing on that item, and you have territory protection. Wouldn't that be nice if you had a carpet that was like that, and a ceramic line that was like that, and a wood line and a vinyl line? Well, we think we have that in the laminate line, and we'd like to show you and tell you why. So let's go through that. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. If this message isn't carried to the customer, you're not going to sell any laminates. But you can take this message to the customer, because this particular laminate line in every category is superior. So now you have something to talk about. So we have a little larger display than you have, and we have 6 wonderful colors, although you can't see the 6 because it's a low-end operation and we have a fixed camera here, but I assure you it's there and it's very good looking. So let's talk about this. This is a 12mm laminate. And we like to take a board and cut the end off, because that way when the customer sees it, they automatically say they're looking at something that's different than they've seen before. 12mm. It's 50% heavier than an 8mm board, and there's 5, 6, and 7mm boards out there. So why is that important to them? The first reason is because it's 12mm, this board has dimensional stability that the lighter weight, more flexible boards don't. It's going to be a better product in their home. And more importantly, it's a heavy board. So when you walk on this board, this is a laminate that's going to be substantially quieter because it's 50% heavier. And those are 2 things the customer can actually see, and they go, you're right, this is something a little bit different. We also put a high-density core in, and many manufacturers do, and that means the locking system, once it clicks together, is going to hold. But it's important to reiterate that, because there is low and medium density locking systems, and you're automatically taking that customer out of the low-end market when you give that customer information like that. So you have a board that's heavier, it's quieter, it's thicker. We also did something that laminate guys used to do all the time. This board has texture, and when we designed this line, we decided to keep texture, because the low-end laminates, they're very smooth. And there's some very beautiful high-end laminates out there that are called piano finishes. They're beautiful products. But when you have smooth laminate finishes, you can pick up smudge marks from 20 feet away. And if you're not informing your customer of that, they're going to be very, very disappointed when they take that product home and they walk in and they find out they need 2 maids to maintain that floor. Because they bought this floor for low maintenance and its good looks. They didn't buy it because it's a high maintenance floor. So the texture always helps that situation, and it's wise to bring it up. So those are 3 really good points. Now, we're going to take our full board, and we like to give this to our customer because this is what they're going to be buying. This board has a beginning and an end, like a piece of pre-finished hardwood. It has a bevel on 4 sides, like a piece of pre-finished hardwood. Now, hardwood has bevels on 4 sides, so you don't catch splinters. This has 2 different reasons why. First reason, the product itself is a little bit more distinguished. It has more definition to it. It looks more like that piece of pre-finished hardwood. Plus, when you click this floor together, because it has a micro bevel, when the shade cuts across this board sideways, this board will always look flat and new. Where the laminates you're used to looking at are 7.5 inches wide, and they have the square edge click system, and the light comes across that joint, it shades it, and that floor always looks cut. So it always kind of looks worn out a little bit. Well, this floor will stay flat looking, and the more you arm your customer with that information, the more they're going to start looking at the other products and realizing that you've got something special. Thirdly, this bevel is treated, so if you drop an egg or some peanut butter, it cleans right up. And that's really important to say that to the customer before they ask the question, because in the back of the mind they're going, micro bevel, high maintenance, micro bevel, high maintenance. So if you bring it up before they ask a question, that's really, really important. Another point is, because this is an individual board and not 7.5 inch wide board, picture 2 boards, sometimes 3 boards, what they're never told and what really upsets them, they could have a picture of a butt joint right next to the actual joint. And they don't see this when they go to the big box stores. Those boards are encased in a box, or they're in a steel frame in a rack. So when they take that home, they take that product home, they assemble it, and they're not happy because the floor looks phony. Because a wood installer would never put a 2-inch wood piece in the middle of their floor. So it's important you point that out to them, because they're going to start being suspicious of everybody they talk to, because you're not getting that information, and you're giving them information because you have an individual board. So this is a great little product. Now, the last thing we'd like to talk about is the finish. In the world of laminates, 99.9% of them are AC3. And that is a European wear standard. After all, they invented the product. And that says the finish on this floor is a residential finish. Well, we purposely asked and selected an AC4 finish, and that is a commercially rated finish, so we have a bigger market, number one. But number two, when the customer hears that, they're very impressed, because now they know they have a floor that's really designed to take the punishment of everyday living. So they have a heavy board, a board that's quieter, a board with a great locking system, a board that's low maintenance because of the texture, a board that's visually much nicer looking, looks like the real thing, and finally they know they have a durable board. So you've got a unique item the customer recognizes, you have a great competitive price because we made sure of that, and you've got some territory protection. So if you're willing to come to the customer and say, we have something very special for you, and I think you're going to like it, you're going to make that sale. And you're going to have a customer who appreciates what they bought, and they're going to like your store for doing so. Now, none of this works if the salespeople are not willing to go to the customer and go through this process. And in that light, we will be happy to come out to your store, either the salesperson that calls on you or myself, to help your sales force, because this is an area that retailers have kind of washed their hands of, and this is an opportunity to get back into a very competitive game where you can make a fair profit. So thank you for listening, and have a great day. Bye-bye.